So if you've ever made something, anything, and put it out there online, you've probably run into the online hater, right? But here's the thing about that bitter, nasty scorn you see. It is not what it seems. Not even close. Today, we're going to dig into the fascinating psychology of why people hate online, and trust me, the answer is way more complex than you might think.
I mean, it's a question we've all wondered about, right? You see a comment that's just designed to tear something or someone down, and you just have to ask, what is really going on there? Is it just simple malice? Are they just bored? Or is there something way deeper happening just beneath the surface?
Well, the short answer is it's almost never about just simple hate. The real emotion, it's so much more complicated. And honestly, it's way more interesting. The best way to think about it is like a kind of psychological alchemy, where one feeling gets twisted and warped until it turns into something else entirely.
And to really wrap our heads around this, we actually have to go back in time, like over a century ago. Because there was this philosopher, Friedrich Nietzsche, who, it turns out, basically predicted the internet troll with just chilling accuracy. He called them the poisonous flies.
Yeah, so this powerful insight comes from Nietzsche. And look, he wasn't talking about Twitter or YouTube comments, obviously. He was talking about something fundamental to human nature. He saw these people who bite not out of malice, but out of this, desperate, primal need to feel alive, to prove to themselves that they even exist.
And this right here is the key. The attack, that scorn, the sting of the poisonous fly, it doesn't come from a place of power. It's not someone strong punching down. No, it is the exact opposite. It's a behavior that is born from a deep, profound feeling of weakness and inadequacy.
Okay, so if it comes from weakness, then what is the root emotion? Before it gets all twisted up, this is where things get really, really counterintuitive. Because the source of all that venom, it often starts as a form of admiration.
The concept has a name, distorted admiration. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's what happens when someone sees another person creating something, or succeeding, or just flourishing. And they feel that first flicker of respect. But because they feel like they can't do the same, that healthy admiration starts to curdle. It goes sour and turns into something toxic.
So let's walk through how this actually happens. First, the hater sees someone out there thriving. And that just acts like a giant mirror, right? It reflects their own inaction right back at them. And it makes them feel small. They lack the courage to get in the game themselves. So that initial spark of, wow, look what they're doing, quickly sours into, ugh, who do they think they are? It's a total defense mechanism against their own feeling of inadequacy.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty of how this all builds up. It's a process, a transformation really, called the alchemy of resentment. And it's this step-by-step process of turning respect into pure scorn.
So here it is, the 4-step process. It all starts with step 1, simple, genuine admiration. But that feeling quickly gives way to step 2, a really painful sense of inadequacy. They feel small in comparison. And from there, it morphs into step 3, resentment. This is that poisonous envy we talked about. And finally, it all culminates in step 4, scorn. And this is the final act, lashing out. Not to offer feedback, not to correct someone, but just to feel a little bit powerful for a fleeting moment. And this phrase just nails the real motivation, doesn't it? The goal isn't really to hurt the creator. I mean, that might be a side effect, but the real goal is internal. It's about getting a quick, cheap hit of power, that fleeting sense of potency. Why? Because they feel so powerless in their own lives.
So when you look at it this way, the dynamic becomes crystal clear. You've got the creator on one side, right? They flourish, they build things, they're acting from a position of true strength. And on the other side, you have the hater. They tear things down. They're just looking for that fleeting hit of potency. And they're acting from a place of profound weakness. I mean, they're two sides of a coin, sure, but one is actually generating value, while the other is just trying to suck it away.
All right, so why does any of this matter? Why is understanding this framework so important? It's not just some interesting psychological theory you forget about tomorrow. No, this is a practical, powerful tool.
And let's be absolutely crystal clear about something. This isn't about excusing toxic behavior, not for a second. What this does is something much, much more powerful. It disarms it. It takes the weapon right out of their hands. Because once you understand the true motivation behind the insult, it just loses all its venom.
When you see scorn through this new lens, everything just shifts. Suddenly, that nasty comment isn't a sign that you failed. It's actually a sign that you're making an impact big enough to make someone else feel inadequate.
It reveals their weakness, not yours, and that completely shifts the power dynamic back to where it belongs, with the person who is actually out there creating something. It helps you focus on the people who build, not the ones who just want to tear it all down.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought to chew on. If the most vicious hate is really just a distorted form of admiration, if it's a recognition of a strength that the critic secretly wishes they had, then what does the criticism you receive really say about the strength of what you're building?